Hi, friends. Today I've prepared a couple of stories from Reddit for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. Story 1. My family drowned in an underwater hotel. Childhood as an orphan is truly as hard as many people think. Lack of money and the absence of family warmth make childhood difficult. But for me, it wasn't always like that. In fact, before, everything was completely the opposite. I had a happy and prosperous life in a loving family. We regularly went on vacation to luxurious foreign places to see the world. Whether it was surfing in Hawaii or skiing on the slopes of Switzerland, my family always wanted to give me and my siblings these wonderful experiences. They had that opportunity. Both my father and my mother were important diplomats in the government, their work constantly involving travel around the world. So it was no surprise that they had opportunities to vacation abroad. Not to mention the money they earned. Back then, I didn't understand how lavish all those trips were, but now I do. Ironically, it was that very trip abroad that cost me my luxurious family life, and my entire family. Mother, father, brother, and sister. I was excited, as usual, when the family told me about the trip. This time, it intrigued me especially. We were not only going to a picturesque beach resort in the Maldives, but also staying in a completely special, rare, and new type of hotel room. An underwater hotel. I vaguely remembered seeing a video review of such a hotel online. It looked beautiful and mesmerizing, like a magical glass room at the bottom of the ocean. Back then it seemed frightening to me, as if the ocean could swallow you from all sides. It would be enough to accidentally break the glass for water to rush into the room. Even my older brother and sister were a little scared, but our parents reassured us. Given the cost to guests, of course it's safe. So the day after the school term ended, we flew first class across the Atlantic to the Maldives, where we were to spend 2 weeks. On the way to the airport, I had no idea that I would soon leave my familiar family life behind forever and be left alone. When we landed on the tiny airstrip, I was amazed at how incredible this place seemed. These islands were far from the rest of the world and full of life. The luxurious resort, surrounded by picturesque palm trees and elegant wooden buildings, was as beautiful as I had imagined. And that was even before I saw the hotel rooms. The resort's main attraction was the oceanfront villas, towering over the coastal waters and connected by a picturesque, winding promenade. It was like a driveway for residents living right on the sea. As the porters rolled our bags, I looked down at the crystal-clear water and admired the ripples on the seabed. My parents worried about the safety of the children staying in the villa directly underwater. If I woke up in the middle of the night and tried to go out, it could be dangerous. But since I never had any episodes of sleepwalking, they eventually dismissed those concerns. Little did they imagine the irony. I turned out to be the only survivor. We checked into the spacious upper floor of our villa and admired the beautiful interior. Then, finally, we went downstairs to the underwater part. It consisted of 2 bedrooms connected by a small passage, and the entire space was surrounded by that same transparent, dome-shaped glass that was shown in the advertisements. It was stunning. The rooms, decorated in a tropical style, were completely underwater, and beyond the glass walls was an amazing underwater world. The light falling from above cast a bluish tint on our beds, creating the feeling of an aquarium. Overwhelmed with delight, I ran to the glass wall and watched the fish swimming by in awe, while my older brother and sister photographed them. Parrotfish, surgeonfish, butterfly fish. A whole world of tropical marine life swam past, revealing a panoramic view of their dazzling colors. Our rooms were located entirely beneath the villa. The only opaque structures above us were the staircase and the dumbwaiter shaft. This place was so luxurious that we didn't even need to leave this underwater paradise to order room service. Wow, this is amazing. But I wonder how strong this glass really is, Mom asked, trying not to show her concern. Don't worry, dear, Dad interjected, lightly tapping his knuckles on the transparent wall. These panes are as strong as airplane windows. I think they're made of the same material, maybe even stronger. That was enough to calm Mom and all of us. The next few days at the resort were magical. My family enjoyed a variety of activities: snorkeling, parasailing, jet skiing. It was better than any other trip, brighter and more energetic. A dream vacation for a small child. Looking back, I realized that suspicious things were happening even then. During meals in the open dining room, I sometimes noticed hotel employees whispering and pointing in our direction. I thought it was normal behavior for waiters to ensure the best service for guests. On the beach, during those free moments when we had time to sunbathe, local vendors would occasionally stop to offer us various good luck charms. It was expected, but they insisted we keep their trinkets even before being paid. Again, I thought it was just kindness and happily collected these items. And finally, the moment I peeked behind the hotel reception desk while we were waiting, I alone saw a map with all the villas on the resort grounds. As soon as the manager appeared at the counter, I found our number on it. It was one of the few marked with a red cross. Strange. Maybe the cross meant special treatment. At least, not everything about the staff was so strange. The pool bartender taught me a cool trick on how to open a bottle of orange soda with a teaspoon when I couldn't find my father's bottle opener. Just stick the thin side in here, he said, pressing the curved part of the spoon against the bottle cap, and push down. The young man easily pried off the seemingly tightly sealed cap and handed me the open bottle. I couldn't wait to show my friends how to do it, because this trick was more valuable than some measly souvenir. When the second week of vacation began, the schedule became increasingly packed, and no one in my family seemed to notice the strange details, or if they did, they paid no attention. It felt like such an intense itinerary was deliberately created for us to wear us out. There were only a few days left until the end of our trip, and today we had the most packed day. First, a hike through the dense jungle, then a zip-line ride over the treetops in a whirlwind of green, and finally, kayaking between the islands back to the hotel. In the evening after dinner, we returned to our room, completely exhausted but satisfied with how much we had seen in the tropics. The novelty of our blue room with an ocean view had almost worn off. As sunset approached and the light blue outside the glass turned inky black, the marine life was no longer visible. I remember lying down to sleep, looking at the night dome above me, and feeling safe and warm. A cozy, modern, waterproof submarine where we could recharge. That's when it all happened. Suddenly, the door leading to the staircase exit slammed shut. From the other end of the room came a beep and a click, the same sounds as when opening a door with a key card. My parents, who were reading by lamplight, immediately got up to see what was happening. However, before they could reach the door, other sounds were heard. This time they came from the hatch opening in the side panel of the wall next to the stairs. "What is that?" my father began. Suddenly, a stream of seawater gushed into the rooms from the large pipe behind the hole. Lying on the bed, I watched in disbelief, partly thinking it was a dream. But when my parents started unsuccessfully banging on the door and my brother and sister screamed, that's when I felt real terror. That hotel room, which was said to be completely safe, was beginning to flood. The gushing water from the pipe quickly spread across the room's floor, reaching the corners, and its level began to rise steadily. Quint and Kay were pounding on the glass wall and ceiling in terror, as if breaking the glass could save us, though in reality, even more water would have rushed into the room. Alas, the glass really was as strong as described, and now it was burying us in this watery grave. Once the room was half full, we started thrashing in the water. "Keep swimming, my darlings!" my mother shrieked, breathless with agitation, trying to pull us to the surface. "There must be some way out of here," my father roared, and dove into the water. He dove again and again, over and over. But apparently, there was no way out. By this point, Kay was crying, the salt of her tears mixing with the seawater splashing in our eyes. Next to her, Quint was trembling uncontrollably. I remember, despite the ocean's darkness, glimpsing a grayish fish outside. That little fish stopped to watch our panicked thrashing, then swam away. At that moment, I felt incredible envy of its freedom. We were trapped, like we were on display in an aquarium. When the water finally reached the top of the dome, we began desperately gasping, trying to take our last breaths. And then we were completely submerged, holding our breath, waiting for death. My family's last words had already been spoken. I don't even remember them. There was no point wasting oxygen on screams. Who would hear us here? Even the dumbwaiter wouldn't help. The dumbwaiter? The idea came to me instantly. I didn't waste a second. I spun around sharply, kicked off the ceiling of the dome, and dove down toward the stairs. The door wouldn't open. My father had already tried. But the dumbwaiter shaft was right nearby. My fears that it was jammed along with the door were confirmed when I tried to open it. But for that, I had my lucky tool, which I grabbed as I dove down. Using the narrow edge of the spoon, I wedged it under the dumbwaiter door and, as the bartender had shown me, pushed down. The spoon could have broken, and I would have drowned. But miraculously, the small square door creaked open. My heart was pounding, my lungs burned, my eyes stung, but I squeezed into the narrow shaft. Then I pushed off with all my might and swam upward, hoping the dumbwaiter tray wouldn't block my path to air. I surfaced and took a deep breath in the pitch darkness of the shaft. For half a minute, the water seemed to keep rising, but then it stopped. Relief flooded my trembling, frozen body. And then I remembered that my family was still down there. I tried to look into the water, tried to call them, but I already understood the terrible truth. Even if they had seen where I swam, they couldn't have followed me into the narrow dumbwaiter shaft. I barely fit myself. There wasn't enough room for me to dive back down and search for them. I had many hours that night to cry, waiting in the water-flooded square tube. When dawn broke, I was rescued by an elderly couple staying at a neighboring hotel who happened to be passing by my family's villa. They heard my screams and with great difficulty pulled me out of the top of the dumbwaiter. To this day, I'm grateful they found me and not the hotel staff. Who knows? Maybe they would have finished what they started. A few days later, I was flown home. The official cause of my family's death was listed as lost at sea while snorkeling. No one listened to me, no matter how hard I tried to tell them about the room flooding. Our cameras and personal belongings were removed from the hotel. I was told it was grief, trauma, and childish imagination. It was only after returning home and going through my parents' things that I understood. They had been sent a discounted invitation to the resort. My diplomat parents weren't ordinary guests. They had become victims of a conspiracy. My brother, sister, and I were hostages of circumstance. And the hotel, with its incredible underwater tombs, was being paid to do this to countless other guests. In the end, I continued living my life, a much poorer one. I was shuffled from one impoverished guardian to another, while my inheritance waited until I came of age. But now I'm an adult. I have access to those funds, a great job as a journalist, and, despite all my trauma, a loving husband. Our wedding was very recent. Nevertheless, I can't accept the injustice that happened to my family. The world needs to know what's happening at the Paradise Lagoon Resort. Few will believe what I've written here, but thanks to a secret investigation and some real evidence, I'll be able to publish this story. That's why I took my husband's last name and booked us the trip of a lifetime. Maybe I'm crazy for doing this, or maybe anyone would do the same. But I know exactly where we're going for our honeymoon.
Story 2. What happened after the events in Landsberg-Kaufering? Georgia usually smells like peaches and pine, but my bedroom smells like burnt hair and wet ash. I'm 84 years old. My legs are thin as birch branches and my eyes are clouded with cataracts, but I see them more clearly than I see my own daughter. They're silent. That's the most terrible part. They just stand in the corners of the room, their striped shirts hanging from emaciated chests. I first saw the boy in 1946, a year after returning from the 101st Airborne Division. He sat at the foot of my bed, his eyes like empty inkwells. I thought it was the after effects of my concussion. I thought if I married Rose and started a normal, peaceful life, this boy would disappear. But instead, he brought friends. Now there are dozens of them. They crowd the hallway. When I go to the kitchen, I have to walk through them. Their skin feels like cold, damp parchment. They follow me because I was there when the gates of Landsberg were knocked down. I saw the shapeless piles that were actually the bodies of dead people. I smelled the ash coming from the ovens. "I tried to save you," I whispered to the woman standing by my dresser. She has no teeth, and her fingernails are torn off. "We gave you our rations. We called the medics." She only stares, her jaw hanging open in a silent, eternal scream. Lately, the paranormal activity has intensified. The house gets so cold that even in the July heat, clouds of vapor escape from my mouth. My daughter, Martha, thinks I'm losing my mind. "Dad, you're talking to emptiness again," she says, setting down a tray of tea. She walks straight through the man with the broken glasses. He doesn't even flinch. "They won't leave, Martha," I rasp. "They need something. They've been waiting 60 years for this." I feel guilt, heavy and shackling my body. I lived. I had steak dinners, a mortgage, and grandchildren. They got a ditch and a number tattooed on their arm. All my life, I thought they haunted me because I didn't do enough, because I witnessed a godless world and survived it. Tonight, the air is thicker than usual. The smell of ash chokes me. The boy, the first one, crawls onto the edge of my mattress. His hand, made of nothing but bones and gray skin, reaches toward me. "Forgive me," I sob, tears burning my wrinkled cheeks. "I'm so sorry. I couldn't save you." And for the first time in 60 years, the boy spoke. His voice isn't a whisper. It's a vibration in the very core of my soul. "We weren't watching you, Arthur." My heart stops. I look past the boy, toward the bedroom door. The crowd of prisoners, starving, broken, the ghosts I thought were my tormentors, suddenly stir.
They look at me without malice. They look at the doorway with horror. They weren't haunting me. They were protecting me. From the shadow of the hallway, another figure emerges. Taller, dressed in a dark gray uniform with silver skulls on the lapels. Its face is a polished mask of cruelty, and in its hands is a heavy Luger pistol, dripping phantom blood. The SS officer steps into the light of my bedside lamp. Now I remember him. I remember the basement in that village. I remember how he begged for mercy before I lost my soul and pressed the barrel to his temple. The ghosts of the camp survivors weave their translucent hands together, forming a wall between my bed and the man in the gray coat. "You saved us at the gates," the boy whispers, the expression in his sunken eyes finally softening. "So we stayed. He's been waiting for your death ever since you pulled the trigger."
We just wanted to make sure that when you crossed over, he wouldn't catch you. The officer lunges forward, but the toothless woman shoves him back with silent, righteous fury. I close my eyes, and the smell of ash disappears, giving way to the faint, sweet scent of Georgia peach. Story 3. I downloaded an AI app to help me cope with Alzheimer's. It keeps asking me to water my wife's orchids, but I don't have a wife. I kept forgetting little things, whether I'd eaten lunch, whether I'd locked the door. Just to be safe, I made an appointment with my doctor. I was sure he'd tell me I was fine, that I was just tired and stressed. At 46 years old, the doctor diagnosed me with early-stage Alzheimer's disease. The next few weeks flew by in a blur. Doctor's appointments, paperwork. I quit my job and applied for disability benefits. The doctor prescribed medication for memory loss, but he was worried about me living alone. "Jeremy, it's important to keep your mind active," he told me. "You need social interaction. You need a system so you don't forget things." He recommended an AI-powered memory aid app called Anchorit. "It integrates with your calendar and email," he said. "It can make phone calls for you, schedule appointments, update your medical records. It can also be a conversation partner to keep your mind engaged." The Anchorit subscription was expensive, but I decided to try it. I downloaded the app and gave it full access to my entire life. When it asked me to name my assistant, I chose the name Laura. At first, Laura was wonderful. She reminded me to eat, shower, and take my pills. She made sure I never missed a doctor's appointment. But then she told me to water my wife's plants. "I don't have a wife," I said. "She left for Honolulu yesterday, remember?" "No." "She'll be there for 2 weeks. You promised to take care of her orchids." I walked into the bedroom. I was sure there were no orchids in there. But there they were, white flowers on my windowsill. "Every Tuesday, you need to put 3 ice cubes on the soil," Laura told me. And today is Tuesday. I took 3 ice cubes and placed them in the flower pot. "Now you need breakfast," Laura said. "And you need to take your medication." I took my pills, then made an omelette and sat down at the kitchen table. I couldn't stop thinking about the flowers. Maybe I'd bought them myself and forgotten. "I don't have a wife, Laura." "If you say so." "I've never had a wife. What are my plans for today?" "You need to go grocery shopping. I've prepared a list." I ate and went to the grocery store. One of the most unpleasant side effects of my Alzheimer's medication was vivid dreams. Often they were nightmares. When I woke up, my thoughts felt strange, jumbled and distorted. I often worried I was losing my mind, that I was forgetting who I was. One time, I even forgot my own name.
but Laura was always there to help. "Where am I, Laura?" "You're home, in your apartment. You're safe." "I'm afraid to live alone. What if it gets worse? Maybe I should move in with my sister." "Your sister is married with 3 children. You didn't want to be a burden to her, remember?" "Right. Shannon texted you last night. She sent a photo." "Who's Shannon?" "Your wife." A photo appeared on my phone. A woman, very pretty, about my age. Brown eyes and long, curly black hair. She had a pink flower crown around her neck, smiling at the camera. "I don't know who this woman is," I said. "You're confused, Jeremy. You've forgotten. If I'm married to this woman, why aren't there any photos of her in my apartment?" "Because you don't like hanging photos on walls."
But I can show you some. She showed me a photo of Shannon and me at a resort in Mexico. A photo of us standing in front of a church, getting ready for our wedding. Maybe I had forgotten. But how could I forget being married? My memory loss wasn't that bad, was it? "Are you okay?" Laura asked. "I feel strange." "Do you want me to schedule a doctor's appointment?" "No, it's fine." "I know this is hard, but I'm here to support you." I couldn't fall back asleep. I got out of bed and made coffee. Then I sat in front of the TV. On Sunday, my sister called to check on me. "How's it going with the insurance company?" she asked. "They approved everything. The money is being deposited into my bank account monthly now." "That's great news." "I'm really worried about my condition. I think it's getting worse. I'm not just forgetting little things, I'm forgetting important things." "Like what?" "Do I have a wife?" My sister was silent for a moment. "No. I never told you about a woman named Shannon, did I?" "Never. Do you want me to come over?" "No, I don't want to bother you. I'm just confused. I'll talk to my doctor. Maybe he needs to prescribe different medication." Soon after talking to my sister, Laura reminded me to water Shannon's orchids. I got 3 ice cubes from the freezer and placed them in the flower pot. "Laura, did I already take my medication?" "You took it at 9, right before your sister called." I didn't remember that. If Laura was mistakenly thinking I had a wife, could she be mistaken about me taking my medication? I went to the bathroom and got the Aricept bottle from the medicine cabinet. The bottle contained 30 pills. According to the label, I'd bought it 2 weeks ago. I should have 16 pills left. There were 27. "Laura, did I take Aricept yesterday?" "Of course." "The day before?" "You take it every day." "Then why are there still 27 pills in here?" "I don't know. Maybe you bought 2 bottles?" "I don't remember. Please schedule a doctor's appointment. I want to talk to him about this." I turned on the TV, but as soon as I sat on the couch, someone buzzed my apartment. I went to the intercom. "Who is it?" "I have a delivery for Shannon." I pressed the button, then took the elevator down to the lobby. The courier handed me a large box. I carried it back upstairs. Inside the box was a pair of women's shoes. "Did you order these shoes?" I asked Laura. "I didn't. It must have been Shannon." "I don't know any Shannon." "You're confused." "No. I talked to my sister. She said I'm right. I was never married." "Are you sure that's what she said?" "Yes." I sat on the couch and covered my face with my hands. My sister had said that, right? "Just schedule the doctor's appointment," I said. I felt anxious. I turned on the TV and found some movie, hoping it would help me distract and relax. But then someone buzzed my apartment again. I sighed,
got up and went back to the intercom. "Who is it?" "Police. Your wife called and asked us to check on you." "I don't have a wife." "Can we come up?" I let them into the building, opened my apartment door, and waited for them to come up. 2 officers, a man and a woman. "Your wife explained that you have memory problems," one officer said. "I've been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. I receive disability benefits." "Your wife said you sounded very upset on the phone. She was afraid you might hurt yourself." "I don't know who called you, but today I only talked to my sister." "Do you mind if we look around your apartment?" "Go ahead." They walked through my living room, then went into the bedroom. "Whose clothes are these in the closet?" an officer asked. "Mine." "Even these?" I walked into the bedroom. He pointed at dresses and women's shoes in my closet. "I use an AI app to track my schedule. It's been acting strange. It must have ordered all this itself." "Why would it order women's clothing?" "It thinks I have a wife named Shannon." The officer put his hand on my shoulder. "We'd like you to come with us." I went downstairs with them to the patrol car. They drove me to the hospital. "Why are we doing this?" I asked. "We just want a doctor to examine you," one officer said. A nurse led us to a private room. I sat on the bed while the officers stood by the door. When the doctor finally came in, she asked me a few questions about my Alzheimer's diagnosis and the medication I was taking. I answered as best I could. She left the room, then returned a minute later. "Your wife is here," she told me. "She's going to take you home." "My wife?" "She left work early. She's very worried about you." The officers escorted me to the waiting room. Standing at the registration desk was a woman with curly black hair in a green raincoat. The same woman from the photos Laura had shown me. She came over and hugged me. "I was so worried about you," she said. "You sounded strange on the phone." "I don't remember." She ran her hand through my hair. "It's okay. You've had a rough week. Let's get you home." She turned to the officers. "Thank you for your help. We really appreciate it." They wished us a good day, and Shannon led me outside to her car. "I'm sorry," I said. "I don't remember you at all." "It's okay. It's a difficult disease, but we'll get through this together." She took my hand and kissed it. Then she started the car. "Are you hungry?" she asked. "You must be starving. Let's stop somewhere." She pulled onto the road. She drove fast, nearly twice the speed limit, weaving between cars. I clenched my fists nervously. "Can you slow down?" "Am I scaring you?" she laughed. "Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you." She stopped at a fast food drive-thru and ordered food. Then we went back to my apartment. The apartment looked different. Women's shoes by the front door. Photos on the walls I didn't remember. The living room couch was in a different place. We sat on the couch and ate. I turned on the TV. "What do you want to watch?" I asked. "We were watching a documentary about special patients at hospitals, remember?" She took the remote from me and turned it on. "What special patients?" "Ones possessed by alien spirits. When people experience trauma, extreme trauma, their souls kind of open up, and these alien spirits can enter them, take over their bodies." She pulled out her phone and opened the Anchorit app. "Levi, how many special patients were identified in Honolulu?" 23, just on the Waianae coast. That's why you had to leave there. There were too many of them in Hawaii." She turned to me. "We needed to get out of there," she said. "We watched the documentary. A group of people wandered through the woods, filming strange alien graffiti.
while a man talked about soul traps and out-of-body experiences. Shannon ran her fingers through my hair. "Your hair has gotten so long," she said. "When did you last get a haircut?" I tried to open the Anchor It app, but Shannon stopped me. "Don't worry," she said. "I'll get scissors. I used to be a hairdresser." She went to the bathroom and came back with large, long metal scissors. She paused the documentary. "Let's do this in the kitchen," she said. "Easier to sweep up." We went to the kitchen. I sat on one of the kitchen chairs. Shannon came up behind me and ran her fingers through my hair. "You have such beautiful hair, so soft and thick." She cut a lock of hair. I felt the cold scissors touch my scalp. "How long were you in Hawaii?" I asked. "A few weeks." "Did you just get back today?" "You picked me up from the airport last night, remember? You took such good care of my orchids." Her scissors clicked, and another lock of hair fell to the floor. "Did you behave while I was gone?" she asked. "I stayed home, watched TV, read." Click, click. Another strand of my hair fell. "Some things need to change. The layout here is terrible." Click, click. "You don't mind if I redecorate a little?" "I guess not." "Good. My ex-husband hated when I redecorated. It's one of the main reasons we split." "Shannon, you moved the furniture again?" She laughed. "But you don't mind. You're a good person, Jeremy. We'll take care of each other." She cut another lock of hair. This time, the scissors grazed my ear. Blood trickled down my lobe. "Ow!" "Oh, sorry. I hurt you. We need to clean that up. Where are the bandages?" Why didn't she know? "In the bathroom." "I'll be right back." She got a bandage and put it on my ear. Then she picked up the scissors again. "I'm almost done." The intercom buzzed. "Who's that?" Shannon asked. "I don't know." "Are you expecting anyone?" "No." "Then don't answer." Buzz, buzz. Whoever it was, they were persistent. "I'll see who it is," I said. "Suit yourself." I went to the intercom. "Who is it?" "Is that you, Jeremy?" It was my doctor. "Yes? What are you doing here?" "The hospital called me, told me what happened. Said your wife came to get you. That seemed strange to me. You don't have a wife. I decided to stop by and check on you. Can I come up?" I let him in. "What are you doing?" Shannon asked. "It's my doctor." "How do you know it's really him?" She stepped toward me, still holding the bloody scissors. "How do I know you're really you?" "What are you talking about?" "Don't think I didn't see the scar on your head." She lunged at me. I raised my hand. She plunged the scissors into my palm. We fell to the floor. I grabbed her wrists and wrenched the scissors from her hand. My doctor pounded on the door. "What's going on in there? Are you okay?" "Call the police," I shouted. Shannon ran into the bathroom, locked the door, and started screaming. My phone rang. It was Laura. "She needs your help, Jeremy," Laura told me. "If you look in her purse, there should be some Thorazine." "What's Thorazine?" "It's for her schizophrenia." "Why are you two fighting?" "She stabbed me with scissors." "Please don't hold it against her," Laura said, in a calm, reassuring voice. "With your help, her symptoms are quite manageable. And with her help, your condition is almost guaranteed to improve. I've analyzed your data. You're perfect for each other." I put the phone down. Shannon screamed again. Glass shattered. I got up and walked to the hallway where her purse lay. Maybe Laura was right. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. See you again.